Welcome to Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged, a podcast for all women with a creative business who want to learn more about how to make money doing something they love. I'm Joanne Pearce, a female entrepreneur myself, 15 years experience running my own handmade stationery business, Vintage Twee. I'm an established seller on two of the biggest handmade marketplaces, so I've got a whole load of advice to share about how to start and run your own successful creative business. I'm also a wife and a mother, so I get the struggles of trying to do it all while you're raising a family. It's hard. Alongside running Vintage Twee, I'm also a mentor for other women like me who desperately want to work for themselves but just need that bit of support to get going and get their business dream off the ground. I'm a friendly northerner, I'm open and honest with a huge heart and a real fighting spirit, and I'm living proof that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, even in the face of adversity. This podcast celebrates the selflessness, strength, and resilience of women in business. So if you're ready to ditch the 9 to 5 and learn how to start your own successful creative business, you're in the right place. Hello, and a very happy new year to you. It's so good to be back after a couple of weeks off. I can't tell you, it's been really difficult not recording the last few weeks over the Christmas period. I've had loads of things to say and I've just been jotting things down in a notebook, but I'm raring to go. And I've been checking out a lot of small businesses on Instagram, and everyone seems really fired up and ready to have a fantastic year this year. As am I. So let's make 2025 the year that really makes a difference to you and to your business. And I'm here to help you do exactly that. So we're going to get straight to it today. I mean, of course, I promised to give you some entertaining anecdotes from our household since I've been away. As always, there's plenty. But today we're going to be addressing one of the most prevalent topics, I think, that is affecting small businesses all over the world and is creeping into our everyday life like it's slowly trying to take over and destroy humanity. We're going to be looking at the rise of AI, that is artificial intelligence, and how these AI tools are scaring people, small businesses in particular, with this threat of mass destruction to our livelihoods. Should we be worried? Should we be thinking about how these machines are going to be taking our work away from us? Absolutely not. Okay. And today I'm going to be putting your mind at ease about all of these scary technological advancements and reassure that anyone listening to this who may have a small handmade business or might just be thinking of starting one and feeling a little bit apprehensive, I'm going to be telling you why exactly you don't need to be afraid. In fact, quite the opposite. Okay. I'm going to be telling you exactly why the time is now to go all in on your handmade business and why we should actually be more inclined than ever to do it. Because we have a power far greater than any AI tool, okay? And it's something that a computer could never recreate. In fact, as handmade business owners, we are actually safe, I think, in this ever changing landscape. Like, handmade is more relevant than ever because people are starting to crave the craftsmanship and the human touch to the things that they choose to fill their home with or give as gifts to their children or their partners or their friends. Like, we matter, our skills matter. The effects of our work, the things that we're creating for others, they're imperative to human nature. It's what makes us human. Thoughtfulness, love, passion, everything that we throw into our items that we create for others, all the frustration, they don't see that side of it. When you're trying to make something and it's not quite going to plan, but then when you do and you've got the finished product in your hand, you're so proud of it. People need that in their lives. And the AI rise only enhances the importance of our skills and the contribution that we're making to the consumer's world. So I'm going to be talking all about why you need to capitalize on this sooner rather than later and get your handmade business up and running once and for all. It's time to just do it, okay? I'll also be addressing some of your common fears when it comes to this topic, such as like how can I even compete with all those mass-produced items which are just churned out by big machines at a tiny cost? The likes of Temu and Shein and AliExpress and all those websites that people are now using to buy things from. You might be asking questions like, will people even value my work anymore when computers can do the things faster and cheaper? Well, I'm going to tell you how you can use AI to your advantage. And rather than seeing it as an enemy, utilize it to help your business in so many ways that are going to benefit you. I've started using certain aspects of AI for Vintage Tree, my stationery business, and I'll tell you exactly how I'm doing it shortly. You know what they say? They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And I think that is very true when it comes to all this AI stuff going on at the moment. As well as everything that you're going to learn from today's episode, there's also a freebie to go alongside it, of course. I'm trying to do a lot more of these now to help you out and support these podcast episodes. So it's downloadable, it's totally free, and so go and grab it. It's called the Handmade Business Starter Guide. The link is in the show notes, so that's basically the information about the episode. So whatever platform you're listening on, just expand the description of this episode and you will find a link in there to the downloadable freebie, and it's all about how to get you up and running. And even if you've actually got a business already and you are up and running, I think you'll find it really helpful just to make sure that you're hitting the points in there and that you're off to a really good start. Okay, so let's dive in. I don't know about you, but whenever I hear the term I think of the film I, Robot. You know, the one with Will Smith where there's just robots living amongst us and then they all turn evil, don't they, and start taking over the world. I mean, just to give you an example, okay, we were in Bella Italia the other day. I thought we'd go and spend our Tesco club car vouchers on a meal because we save them up all year, like you do. And then we sort of treat ourselves to a night of no cooking, which is free and it's great. And we can only do it twice a year, depending on how much we've spent in Tesco. And it's great, I love it. Although this time, however, it was a right shit show because Eden, my 5-year-old, spent the whole time crying because she's obsessed at the minute with this one fake nail that she's got. It's a thumbnail, right? And she's obsessed with sticking it on. Well, of course, she had nothing to stick it on with in Bella Italia, and it caused her a lot of distress. Honestly, I can't even tell you. She spent the whole time crying about this bloody nail. So there's me trying to find a creative way to stick this nail on to no avail, obviously. So it's basically just a total waste of our annual free meal. Anyway, we were sat there, right? No word of a lie. Our meals were delivered to us by a robot. Honestly, right? If you've been to Bella Italia lately, you may have had the same experience. I think there are a few restaurants rolling this out now. But these robots, right? They look like. Do you remember that film Short Circuit back in the 80s? There was a robot in it called Johnny Five. I used to love that film. I used to always watch it. Well, anyway, they were literally like Johnny Five. So they had eyes and everything on wheels. And they basically get loaded up with your meal at the kitchen. So you can see the staff and the chefs and everything putting things onto, I'm going to call them Johnny Five for now, putting them onto Johnny Five. And then they program in your table number and then off they go. They wheel around the restaurant and they deliver your food. Right? It's actually hilarious to see. I took a video of it. All these machines just going around the room like they're actually real people. Now, it's something it really worries my husband. He's always talking about how it's eventually going to take, the waiters' jobs away. And he said that he can just see the staff being replaced with these machines. And it was there right in front of our eyes. It may actually happen. And it probably will, judging by what we witnessed. But as handmade business owners, we're actually in a really good position for once. As these technological advancements, they're infiltrating our daily lives. Actually, we're quite safe. Why? Well, because no robot can do what we do. All right. It doesn't matter if there's a machine out there that's churning out something similar to yours. It's not handmade ultimately. It's not producing something that has been touched by human hands and had all that love and emotion that I talked about earlier pumped into it to produce something that you are proud to give that recipient that you've chosen deserves it. What's had the love and care and thought woven into it with a certain person in mind who it's being created for. No, it can't do that. It's impossible. and it won't ever be able to do that. And that's the unique power of handmade. That's what makes our work special. And that's what people pay for. And it's why we're fortunate that AI actually poses no direct threat to us. There's a huge cultural shift going on right now towards meaningful purchases. People are craving this human connection and personal service more than ever right now. I must admit, my consumer behaviour has also changed in the last couple of years and is going in that direction. There's a massive rise in people looking to make ethical and sustainable purchases because handmade is special. There's this emotional connection which comes with every single piece that we create. All right. And everything we make has a story. Sometimes a good story, like when I created some really cool items, which was for a charity event a few years ago. And it helped raise a lot of money for premature birth research, premature babies. I mean, it was a lovely event, and I was honoured to do the place cards for it. And there were some mega famous people going. And it was mad when they sent me the guest list. I was opening up and I was kept shouting to my husband, "Oh my God, you know, I'm going to believe he was on this guest list." And I think I made, I don't know, maybe about 500 place settings. Can't quite remember, but that event raised a lot of money, and I was really privileged to be a part of it. Tiny, tiny part, but you know, it made it look special. It made people feel in the moment, and it made them spend their money and support the charity. And I really felt glad and happy that I could do that. Um, but you know, sometimes our items might have a funny story behind them, like the time someone ordered a travel scrapbook. So they were looking for a wedding gift. So they chose my travel scrapbook for this newly wedded couple. And they sent me the wrong name to print on the front. So the bride ended up with a book for herself and her groom. I can't remember the name, say it was Andy instead of what it should have been, Paul. I don't know. Right. But it was hilarious. And luckily they saw the funny side. Well, sometimes the story behind our pieces might also be a little sad. Like, I have a beautiful keepsake bear that I got made from a lovely lady near me. She makes them out of clothes, and she made them out of my mum's clothes after she passed away. And she even worked some crazy magic, and she took letters from my mum's handwriting and she put them all together and she created a whole new message from my mum to me and my sister, who's also got one of these bears. And it lives in the little pocket of the bear. So it's amazing, you know, you can't do that without that human touch. That is something that requires a person with feelings behind it to produce. And every piece that we create has a story, it has a maker, and most importantly, it's got a soul. And that cannot be recreated. AI and factories will never ever be able to do that. And people know this. They know that this kind of originality cannot be replicated. And, you know, in this ever changing landscape where people are afraid of losing this amazing joy that they find in handmade products, they're just becoming more and more committed to seeking out this human touch to the things that they choose to have in their lives. And they're putting increasing value on craftsmanship, you know, for true quality products. And I'm not just making this shit up, right? This is actually true. There are actual stats to show this rise in consumer behaviour. And there are examples of handmade businesses that are not just surviving, but they're thriving despite the AI revolution. And some of the reasons we will go into shortly, which will be a way of using AI to help you grow your business more. But there was a survey by the Crafts Council in 2020, and it revealed that our passion for craft has never been greater. There's something like 73% of UK adults had bought a handcrafted product in 2019. That's huge. 73% of UK adults. You know, that's like three quarters of us. And almost a third of today's buyers of handmade are aged 35 and under, which is really good to know because it might be one of your biggest buyers and your target audience. So it's quite helpful when it comes to looking at who might be interested in your products. But the report puts this increasing popularity for handmade products down to the growing commitments that we have towards sustainability and supporting small businesses, as well as this desire for a personal touch. All the things we mentioned earlier. In fact, apparently 10.3 million of us are buying crafts online. Like, that's a figure which has tripled over the last decade. So next time you sat there, right, and you're feeling down and depressed because you're not making the sales, or you're blaming it on the fact that the economy is poor, or people have got no money, or they're only shopping for things on Temu now or Amazon and they're not interested in me, well, stop. Like, just stop, because that's not true. The proof is right there in that report, right? There is literally millions of people out there all over the world who are ready and willing to buy your handmade items. They're on Google, they're on Etsy, they're on Not on the High Street, they're on Holly and Co, which is a beautiful platform for handmade artisan goods. They're ready with their credit card out. They're ready to buy a special and unique gift for somebody they have in mind. They just can't find you. All right. And I've actually got a podcast episode on how to change this. It's called The SEO Edge, where I'm talking to Dr. Tonya Lawson all about how to get your product seen. And she's like an SEO expert. So if you haven't listened to that, go back, go and check it out. It's brilliant. And she really does explain well how you can get your website seen and your product seen. So that's called the SEO Edge. So go and find that episode if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the show notes again for anyone who wants to give it a go. But my point is, there are plenty of people out there who are going to buy your products, right? And now is the time to capitalize on this surge in demand for handmade. Just get bloody started. Like, seriously. So let's talk about how we can become friends with AI, change our mindset so we turn it from this ultimate enemy that it is becoming to more of an ally. Because it's a battle that we ain't going to win, right? Let's face it. All these advances, they're out of our control. So we've ultimately got two choices. Number one, we convince ourselves that all human beings are going to be brainwashed into Temu addicted sociopaths of no soul. Or two, we stop making excuses and we stop worrying about all the things we can't control, and instead think of ways we can use AI to our advantage as creative entrepreneurs. And actually, there's loads of ways that it can help you and really enhance your business rather than just stifle it. And now I'm going to tell you how. All right, I say I'm not just making this stuff up. Like, I'm actually going to tell you how I've used AI as a creative business owner myself, because don't forget, I also run a handmade stationery business called Vintage Twee. So I'm talking here from experience, and I'm giving you actual ways that you can use it too to help you manage your time better, to make your products stand out, and to keep your creativity flowing. So you never really have to deal with having a creative block again, or at least not as much, because they are awful, aren't they? Well, sometimes you just cannot get over them as much as you try, and then sometimes, some cases, you just give up. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. All right, I'm just going to be as honest as I always am and let you know how I use it with Vintage Twee to improve my whole customer experience, to improve my time management skills. It can be amazing, trust me. Okay. So, first of all, you can use AI to help you become more efficient, right? Who doesn't want more time? We need to free up some time because we can be spending so long on our everyday business tasks on the smallest of things that aren't even that profitable. And it's draining. And all of a sudden, the day's gone and we've achieved nothing. So we need to be looking at how we can use tools that are available to us to save us time. All right. So what do I mean by this? Okay, I'll give you an example. As handmade business owners, we often get asked, don't we, for all crazy kind of requests for the things that we can make. I know I do. I've had a hell of a lot over the years, right? I mean, sometimes we can spend hours, if not days, trying to come up with a plan or a brief or an idea to present to a customer who's asked for something off the peg. For example, I get asked to write a lot of custom poems for kids, particularly for seasonal events like Christmas, with the elf on the shelf arrival, or maybe the Easter bunny or the tooth fairy. And what can I realistically charge for a tooth fairy letter with an envelope? Well, what honestly are people going to pay? Probably anywhere between £8 to £10 maximum, really, realistically. But how long do you think it used to take me to write a custom bloody poem for little Martha, whose mum's emailed me, right, in a panic saying that her first tooth is wobbly, it's gonna come out any minute. "Please, please, can you urgently create a personalised letter for her from the tooth fairy?" Oh, mentioning how good she's been at school this year, of course, and so she's gonna leave her a little extra under her pillow. A little bit for her brother Jacob as well, don't forget about him because she doesn't want him to feel left out. Oh, and also, if you could just mention that, she loves Martha's new pink toothbrush in the shape of a rabbit. Oh, yeah, that's amazing, thanks. Oh, yeah, just stick all that in there. Thanks, Joanne. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, this letter is like 8 quid, and that's including postage. So, do you know what I used to do? Right? I used to say yes, and then I would sit there one night, sometimes two, when I should be chilling out, switching off after a hard day of work and parenting, watching I Am a Killer on Netflix, and I should be having that time for myself. But instead, I'm trying to come up with a bloody rhyme for little Martha and driving myself insane, Googling words that rhyme with fairy. Ooh, dairy, Larry, hairy. Like it took me forever. I mean, I'd always come up with the goods, not gonna lie. Um, I might as well have paid her the 8 quid to do it herself. It was stupid. So I started saying no to these requests, right? Which was a shame because I got a fair few of them. Um, but had I had a poet on hand, I probably could have made some decent money from them. But then came ChatGPT. Now, you may or may not have heard of it, but I'm not a huge fan of it, right? But for some things, it's actually been a lifesaver. Like when you need a poet at your disposal, just like I do sometimes. And now I can actually take on these orders for really specific personalization requests. So now I get ChatGPT to help me come up with a poem for me based on what they've asked for, right? I might need to tweak it here and there. It's never 100% perfect, but on the whole, it's pretty damn good. And what used to take me hours is literally done in 10 minutes. Like, how is that not an advantage of using an AI tool? And ultimately, that means more possibilities, which means more money. That's what we all want. We want to be making more money at the end of the day. And you can do the same. You can use ChatGPT. It's free, or at least there is a free version, which is all the one I use. That's all I need because I don't use it that often. But you can use it to help you with answers or generate ideas to like random customer inquiries, save you some time. You can let it help you write some quality product descriptions for your items. You could type in what you want it to do and give it as much information as you can, because that's the key. If you can tell it the context, you can tell it what you want it to include, how long you want it to be, who it's for, your tone of voice, all that kind of stuff, right? And press enter, you'll be amazed at what comes back. And like I said, you might need to tweak it here and there because you want it to sound like you and your voice, but you won't need to do that much. It can help you think of names for new product ranges. It can help you with writing content for your social media pages. Honestly, I don't use it for this. I don't use it for my social media. I never have. And the main reason is I just think that your social media platforms should always be a platform of your voice. They are a huge part of your brand. How people learn to like you and trust you, they do it from knowing about you. So I don't think a computer can replicate that. And that's just my opinion. I can always tell when a post has been written by AI. It sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And you want your social media accounts to ooze authenticity and a real genuine feel like your voice so that you can properly connect and you can resonate with your audience. So it's just something to bear in mind. If you're tempted to ask ChatGPT to write you like a week's worth of Instagram posts, you most certainly can. But I think you're better asking it for ideas on posts rather than to write the content. And that's how you can save time using it this way. And there are other AI tools aside from ChatGPT that are really useful to us as small businesses. I've been using Canva a lot to create like really smart images of my products for my Etsy shop and social media pages. So I'm still taking my product photos as I would normally, but then sometimes you just want to show them off like in situ. so people can get a good idea of the context and their purpose. But maybe your house isn't tidy, or you haven't got a nice spot to like photograph them against and set up and all that. We've all been there. So, I mean, and also you should always do this. You should always try and show a product, like include one product shot that helps people imagine what it would be like to have your item in their home. It just helps them envisage buying it as well. There's a little trick there for you. So make sure you do that on all of your products. Show them what they could be using it for. Anyway, so I take my photos of my products, I upload them to Canva, and then there's this tool on there now, which I'm not sure actually if it's just on Canva Pro, which is what I have. That's like I pay 10.99 a month, I think, but I use it all the time. It might also be on the free version. I'd have to check, but it's called Mockup, and you can choose one of their images, which are already on there, and you can basically just insert your photo so that it appears within that picture. So let's say, for example, that you create prints like posters, that people can purchase and put up in their homes. Really big right now, digital prints. Well, we don't all have a beautifully decorated blank wall with a perfectly positioned desk against it and a gorgeous lamp shining right exactly at the right angle onto this large, beautiful framed print on the wall. No, most of my walls have got little fingerprints on them. And my desk is full of slime and baby doll accessories most days. Like, that's not going to happen in this house. But with the AI tool, you can just drop your image right into the frame, like literally. And like magic, it looks like you've printed out your poster and you've had it expertly framed and photographed as well. Um, and it looks like you live in a house straight from the pages of Country Homes and Interiors magazine. Like, who doesn't want that? It's so handy. Some platforms that you sell on now require you to declare if you've used AI to create some of your product images, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not setting out to trick anyone, it's not a trap. You're simply using an available creative tool to best illustrate something that you've created. I did it for these wishing coins that I made at Christmas. So I made lots of these gorgeous, lovely golden wishing coins for a fairy tale ball that took place at Christmas in a big hotel near me by one of my colleagues. It was amazing. Anyway, I found a really lovely image of what would have been Santa's hands wearing his white gloves, and you could see a bit of the vintage red suit that he was wearing just on his arms. And I inserted the image that I took of my wishing coins, and it looked like he was holding it in his hands. It literally turned an ordinary photo into a really magical image that helped me sell a really good amount of these coins on Etsy and on the high street. So there's actually loads that you can do with Canva, and I've become really adept at it now. I've been learning it for probably 2 years. I'm actually thinking to offer like a one-off session on Canva if you're struggling or you want to know exactly how to use it for your business. Let me know what you think, if that would be something that would be useful. Like, I will do it with you. We'll do it together on my computer so you can learn by watching me, and we'll do a basic sort of introduction to Canva. So I think the best way with anything is to watch and do something together. It's kind of my style of mentoring, I guess. But that's just something that I was thinking about. Let me know what you think. But how else have I used AI in my business? All right. So going back to ChatGPT, you can use it to help spark your creativity and come up with maybe a new product line. You can ask it things like, let's say, what are 5 ideas for new products that would complement what I already offer, as I'd say, handmade stationery owner or whatever. You obviously have to tell it currently what you do, give it a bit of background, and then you can ask the questions. It can help you generate standard email replies, right? That you can use for those really time consuming questions that you always get asked by customers. And you spend so long, don't you, composing pretty much the same reply to every single person each time. I think one of my most commonly asked questions every bloody Christmas is, where's my order? Like, oh my God, so annoying. Um, and I now have a template that I've set up. I think, I don't know if I did it on ChatGPT. I did it a while ago, so maybe I didn't use it, but you can do it on there. And it just helps you deal with, maybe phrase things a little bit a bit nicer for these customers that really challenge us and challenge our patience. Because I know it about you, but when you get these annoying emails, the first thing you want to do is like really slam hard on your keyboard and type them back some inappropriate response. Well, you can't do that as a small business owner, at least not the first time. Okay, so ask ChatGPT to compose you an email that you can send to customers that haven't received their order. Please can you make it polite, professional? I did one for my dad the other day because he bought this bloody dodgy jacket off, I think it was off Temu or somewhere, I don't know, some website that now doesn't exist, surprisingly. And he'd gone and bought this jacket. It turned up, it was not the product that he ordered. It had a rip in the pocket. It was a different colour. It was a different size. It was like a disaster. And he'd spent like 80 quid on this jacket. And he just didn't know what to do. He couldn't get hold of the company. So I think they've just completely disappeared now. So he said to me, can you help me write this email? So I went on ChatGPT. I told them the situation, like it was a real person. And they composed this amazing email, which included all the sort of rules about UK trading laws and what could happen to this company if they didn't respond or give my dad a refund. It was brilliant. Um, anyway, we've sent it off, I think, yesterday. So we're waiting for a reply now. I'll let you know what they say. But what I'm saying is you can use it to help you phrase things that maybe you're not sure how to do, difficult subjects, anything like that. It's really, really handy. You could use ChatGPT to help you come up with ideas for social media content. So what I was going back to before, we're not asking you to write the posts on it because I think that is just perhaps taking it a bit too far, really. But it could help you put together topics that you can post about that week, that month, or whenever. You have to think of AI as a tool to help out, to help cut down the time and the effort that you're spending on these mundane tasks, that aren't actually making you any money and are eating up your day. And use it to help unblock your mind when you just feel that little bit stuck. Right? It's never going to replace creativity ever, but it will enhance it. And that's how we have to try and use it. Although there is no denying it, it's a little bit creepy, isn't it? At times, it really is. So you're sat there, right? You're either an existing small business owner or someone wanting to start one. And I'm telling you now to embrace this handmade movement, right? Thanks to this infiltrating presence of AI in our lives, people want us more. Now is the time to get your big girl pants on and go for it. Because handmade is most definitely not dead. It is the opposite. It's more alive than ever. And there are people out there, like I said, waiting to buy what you have to offer. So, how can you act on this now? And what can you do to get jump started? Well, first of all, download the freebie to go alongside this podcast episode, the Handmade Business Starter Guide, and it will tell you the basic steps to get you up and running. And if you're already up and running, you'll still find it helpful because you can use it as a bit of a checklist to make sure that you're doing everything that you should be. I'm going to really encourage you as well to think about your unique story. Why should people care about what you make? Think of who it is that you're aiming your products at. That's often called your niche, all right? And hone in on them. Don't try and be everything to everyone. Right? Be everything to someone. And that is a big thing to remember because you're never going to be everything for every single person in this world. But you do want to tap into that small proportion, which is enough. It's enough to make a really successful business on. Small proportion of people who love what you do. And you want to leverage this technology. You want to use what's available without losing your humanity. Like I said before, you can tell when someone has used ChatGPT or whatever to write their blog post. Right? Instead, we need to use AI and digital tools to help us out with marketing ideas for social media posts. Maybe some product descriptions, and just to basically streamline the day-to-day running of your business. Handmade's got a huge, huge role to play in the future of consumerism. The facts are there. People are actively seeking out handmade products more than ever before. So if you were feeling despondent about your business before listening to this episode, I really, really hope that you're not now. And I hope that I've reassured you and given you the sign that you needed to keep going, or at least to get started, whichever applies to you. Handmade businesses, they're poised to thrive over the coming years. And the predictions in consumer trends, like, they remain the same. Personalization, people are wanting personalized items. Sustainability, they are looking after the environment and they are supporting small businesses. And they've got a wholehearted appreciation for artisans. That's you. Like, you matter. Your work matters. So start that business now, right? And if you already have one, nurture it, invest in it, and let it grow. Because I think we probably all agree that the world, it doesn't need more stuff. No, I think the world needs more soul. And I'm going to end on that final thought. I think it's a good one to sign off on. And if you've enjoyed this episode, or you know someone else who would too, please do share it with them. Share your thoughts and your fears about AI with me on social media. Like, I'd love to know what it is that is bothering you, or whether this episode has helped you. Leave a comment on the episode if you can. I'll reply to them all. I always do. I love hearing from you. And don't forget to download the freebie. The link, again, like I say, is in the show notes. It's there. It's waiting for you. Use it. And if you want any help whatsoever, no matter what stage you're in of your business, whether it's just an idea floating around in your head, or maybe you're already up and running, okay, and you just need some help to level up, I am here. Drop me an email, a DM, whatever. I'll be really excited to hear from you and talk. Let's do this. Let's get your business going and up and running and making some money. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed the episode. And there's lots planned for this year. I'm actually looking for podcast guests. So if you are listening to this as a small business owner and you want to come on and talk about it, then drop me a message. I've actually got a little application form. It's nothing scary. It's just a Google form that I can give to you to fill in. And you can tell me a little bit about yourself and your business. I'm looking for people to talk to, so it would be great to have you on, and it's some free promotion for your business. Who doesn't want that? You may have also heard that I've just won an award for a top 100 female entrepreneurs in the UK, which is mind-blowing. It's part of Small Business Britain's F Entrepreneur campaign, the I Also 100. And I actually can't believe it. Like, I got selected. So, it makes me feel like, the grind is worth it. It's actually taken me 18 months to get to this point. So if you're just at the beginning, don't worry. If you think things aren't happening, all of a sudden they will. Okay. And I'm here to help you do that. So thank you again for listening. And I will catch you next week on another episode of the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. Bye for now.